Welcome to an overview of the first Labour budget speech for the past 14 years, and the first ever by a female Chancellor of the Exchequer. Coming into this budget, we were widely informed that there's a fiscal black hole of £22 billion, UK has a broken public service, UK PLC needs long-term growth, and the Labour government will follow very tight fiscal rules, largely due to a tighter relationship with the OBR, or Office for Budget Responsibility. Now we know this. The black hole will effectively be filled by tax receipts that will come from employer national insurance increases, but a further £19 billion will come from increased taxes over the coming years. This is the largest tax receipt increase from a budget since Norman Lamont in 1993. There will be more spending and investment to the tune of £100 billion over the next 5 years. UK GDP will grow next year by 2% and then 1.8% in 2026, according to the OBR. And whilst the OBR will hold the government to account, they've already been able to wangle an adjustment to the rules as to how government investments are accounted for. So what has actually happened? Well, the Prime Minister has been able to stick to his employees' triple lock commitment of leaving income tax, national insurance, and VAT untouched. But to do so, he's targeted employers, inheritance tax, and capital gains tax. So here's a summary of what the new world looks like. But whatever your view, there is quite a bit to digest, and not all details are known currently. There will be many consultations as to how to successfully implement these changes over the coming months. Employers. Well, the good news is that for smaller businesses, the employment allowance, or the amount a business can save on national insurance, will increase from £5,000 to £10,500. But the bad news is this is more than swamped by an increase on the employee national insurance contributions paid by the employer from 13.8% to 15%, now to be paid on earnings as low as £5,000. Those clients focused on retirement may want to consider paying more into their workplace pension or contribute more to a personal pension as a result. Pensions. Well, the good news is there's no change to tax relief on contributions. There's no change to the £60,000 annual contribution allowance. There's no change to the tax-free cash, still maximum £268,275, and the lifetime allowance is still abolished. Overmore, the state pension still remains in place with the triple lock, and we'll see a 4% increase next April. But the bad news is, as of April 2027, any unused pension assets will pass into your estate on death, and a 40% tax may be applied on all or some of it. In short, that means that estate planning should definitely be on the agenda when you next talk with your advisor. Capital gains tax. The good news, there's still a £3,000 capital gains tax allowance in place. The bad news, the two CGT tax rates or tiers will be increased from 10 and 20% to 18 and 24% respectively for lower and income tax brackets, with immediate effect. For example, this means that those with larger amounts in personal portfolios or GIA portfolios, then the tax burden will be higher, although the relatively small allowance has been maintained. When you add in the ongoing stealth taxes, for example, frozen income tax personal allowance, tax brackets to 2028, frozen inheritance nil rate ban to 2030, an increased squeeze on purchasing second properties via the STLT from 3% to 5%, as well as increasing rates from 10 to 18% for asset disposals. It's hard not to feel fairly aggrieved by what has just been presented to us. That said, it's a Labour government elected to build a Britain that works for working people. Our debt was 98% of our GDP last financial year, or £2.7 trillion, and we're scheduled to pay around £74 billion in soaring borrowing costs on that debt. Tax had to be a key part of this budget. Change also brings opportunities, and we're more than happy to discuss them further with you in order to help you to achieve your financial and lifestyle objectives. Just contact your advisor to book in a review meeting at your convenience. For those who can remember the BT adverts of the 1990s, it really is good to talk. Just a final thought, this government may only be with us for a further 5 years or so, and always remember, policies introduced today can always be reversed tomorrow. Many thanks for listening.